Disney has given us some of the most beloved animal characters in cinematic history. Loyal companions, brave heroes, innocent creatures who trusted the wrong people. And sometimes, their stories break our hearts. From the very beginning in 1937 to today, Disney hasn't shied away from showing us that animals suffer. They face betrayal, loss, trauma that changes them forever. Today we're breaking down every major Disney animal's saddest defeat and fall across nearly 90 years of storytelling. Let's begin. Jiminy Cricket was appointed as Pinocchio's conscience. His job was to guide the puppet toward becoming a real boy. And he fails, repeatedly. Pinocchio ignores him, chooses Pleasure Island, gets turned into a donkey, nearly gets Geppetto killed. Jiminy's defeat is watching the boy he's supposed to guide make every wrong choice, feeling like his guidance means nothing. He succeeds eventually, but the journey is filled with failure and self-doubt. Figaro and Cleo are Geppetto's beloved pets, always by his side in the workshop. When Geppetto goes searching for Pinocchio and ends up swallowed by Monstro, Figaro and Cleo are with him. They're not shown being swallowed, but they appear inside the whale's belly alongside Geppetto. Inside Monstro, the pets experience fear and panic as the whale thrashes and floods the cavern with water. They cling to Geppetto's raft, helpless in the chaos. Their defeat isn't a dramatic rescue scene. It's being tiny, frightened pets trapped in the belly of a giant whale, unable to do anything but hold on and hope Geppetto survives. Dumbo gave us one of Disney's most heartbreaking animal stories, Mrs. Jumbo. Her baby is born with massive ears. The other elephants mock him, children torment him, pull his ears, laugh at him. And Mrs. Jumbo snaps. She's protecting her child. Any mother would. But the circus labels her dangerous, locks her in a cage, separates her from Dumbo. Then comes the devastating scene. Dumbo visits through the bars. They can't embrace, just trunks intertwining. A mother comforting her baby the only way she can while imprisoned. Mrs. Jumbo's defeat is imprisonment for protecting her child, being labeled mad for showing maternal love. And Dumbo has to walk away, back to a circus that mocks him, without his mother, alone. Dumbo himself faces constant defeat. He's born different, and the circus world punishes difference. The other elephants reject him. He's made into a clown, forced to jump from burning buildings for laughs, humiliated in front of crowds who see him as a joke. And he's separated from the one being who loved him unconditionally, his mother. Dumbo's defeat is systematic. It's being born into a world that sees you as defective, as entertainment, as less than. And now we come to the most iconic animal death in Disney history, Bambi's mother. She's teaching Bambi to survive the harsh winter, being a gentle mother, protecting her fawn. Then she senses danger, hunters. She tells him to run. They run through the snow, a gunshot, silence. Bambi reaches safety, calls for his mother. Mother, mother! The great prince appears. Your mother can't be with you anymore. That's it. No body, no goodbye, just absence. Bambi's mother died protecting her child, died giving him a chance to escape. And Bambi has to grow up without her, has to learn that the world is cruel and senseless, that mothers die. That hunters kill for sport. Faline grows into a strong doe, but when hunters return to the forest, she faces one of the most terrifying moments in the film. A pack of hunting dogs corners her on a rocky ledge. She struggles to escape as they snap at her legs. She calls out in distress, and Bambi hears her. After Bambi rescues her, the forest fire begins to spread. Faline runs with the other animals through smoke, falling debris, and flames. Faline's defeat isn't exaggerated panic. It's a realistic moment of terror. She's a prey animal overwhelmed by hunters, dogs, and a burning forest, fighting to survive in a world far more dangerous than she ever imagined. Cinderella's mice, Gus and Jack, are constantly terrorized by Lucifer the cat. They risk their lives daily just trying to help Cinderella. Lucifer hunts them, corners them, nearly kills them multiple times. And when Cinderella needs them most, when they're carrying the key to free her from her locked room, Lucifer attacks again. Their defeat is being small and vulnerable in a house that sees them as vermin, constantly in danger, fighting for survival while trying to help someone they love. Bruno is Cinderella's loyal dog, gentle, good-spirited, and always dreaming of chasing Lucifer. Lady Tremaine dislikes him and banishes him outdoors, forcing him to sleep in the cold. She doesn't strike him, but she makes it clear he isn't welcome in the house. From outside, Bruno can only watch and worry as Cinderella is mistreated. He wants to help her, but he's a dog, powerless against a family that sees him as nothing more than a nuisance. Bruno's defeat is quiet. He's a loyal companion trapped on the outside, unable to protect the person he loves. Lady and the Tramp showed us a dog's heartbreak. Lady's perfect life shatters when her owners have a baby. Suddenly, she's pushed aside, ignored. Her place in the family feels uncertain. Then she's muzzled by Aunt Sarah. Traumatized, she runs away in terror and panic. Later, she's captured by the dog catcher, thrown in the pound with dogs awaiting death. Lady's defeat is learning that love isn't permanent, that you can be replaced, that your family might not always protect you. Tramp lives free on the streets, but freedom comes with a cost. When he's finally captured, he faces the pound, and in the pound, dogs who aren't adopted are killed. Tramp's defeat is nearly dying alone, without a family, without anyone to save him. Trusty is an old bloodhound who's lost his sense of smell. His glory days are behind him. But when Tramp needs saving, Trusty discovers his nose still works. He tracks the wagon through the city. He stops the wagon, saves Tramp, but gets hit in the process. And for a terrible moment, we believe he's dead. This old dog who gave everything to save a friend. Trusty survives, but his defeat is nearly dying for loyalty, proving that even when you feel useless, you still risk everything for those you love. 101 Dalmatians gave us pure evil. Cruella de Vil, a woman who wants to skin puppies for a fur coat. When the puppies are stolen, they're imprisoned at Hell Hall. 15 puppies, plus 84 more, all waiting to be killed for their spots. Horace and Jasper literally prepare to murder them when Pongo and Perdita arrive. The escape is brutal. The puppies nearly freeze in the snow, nearly get caught multiple times. They're exhausted, terrified. They have to cover themselves in soot to hide their spots, become invisible to survive. Their defeat is the trauma of knowing adults wanted them dead, that their spots made them targets, that they were valued only as material for clothing. The Jungle Book gave us Baloo, the laid-back bear who becomes Mowgli's father figure. When Shere Khan attacks Mowgli, Baloo doesn't hesitate. He jumps between the tiger and the boy. Shere Khan tears into him. Baloo collapses, silent, still. Bagheera begins a eulogy. Mowgli is devastated. The bear who taught him joy is gone. Baloo wakes up, but that moment of apparent death is real. Baloo's defeat is nearly dying for the man-cub he loved like a son. The Aristocats showed us animals betrayed by humans they trusted. Edgar the butler drugs Duchess and her 3 kittens, abandons them miles from home. They wake up disoriented. The kittens are scared. They don't understand why they're not home. Duchess has to protect her children in unfamiliar territory, cross rivers, avoid dogs, survive in a world they were never prepared for. Their defeat is being torn from their home, learning that the human who was supposed to care for them saw them as obstacles, that their lives were worth less than money. Robin Hood showed us an entire community of animals suffering under oppression. Prince John taxes them into poverty. Families starve. Children go without. The blacksmith loses his shop. Friar Tuck's church is robbed. Little Skippy's birthday is ruined when the sheriff takes his 1 farthing, a child's birthday present stolen by the government. Their defeat is systematic oppression, being powerless against a corrupt ruler who sees them as resources to exploit. Even Robin Hood faces defeat. During the escape from Prince John's castle, Robin is wounded by an arrow. He collapses, nearly dies. Little John is desperate to save him. Robin's defeat is nearly failing, nearly dying before he can save his people, being vulnerable despite being a hero. The rescuers gave us Rufus, an old cat who once lived at Morningside Orphanage with Penny. When Penny is kidnapped, Rufus knows he can't help. He's too old, too slow. All he can do is tell Bernard and Bianca about her. Rufus's defeat is aging, being too old to save someone you love, having to trust others to do what you're no longer capable of. Evinrude the dragonfly is tiny but determined. He carries messages for Bernard and Bianca. But he's nearly killed by bats, collapses from exhaustion. His little body can barely handle what's being asked of it. Evinrude's defeat is being small in a world of big problems, pushing himself to the breaking point because lives depend on him. The Fox and the Hound gave us one of Disney's most heartbreaking stories, Todd, the Fox and Copper the Hound. As children, they're best friends. They promise to stay friends forever. But the world doesn't let them keep that promise. Copper grows up, gets trained to hunt foxes, and when they meet again, he's different. Todd, those days are over. We're not kids anymore, and we're not friends. Copper actively hunts Todd, tries to kill him. The friend he played with becomes the enemy he's trained to destroy. When Chief gets hit by a train and nearly dies, Copper blames Todd, vows revenge. Their friendship doesn't just end, it becomes hatred. Then, after Todd saves Copper from a bear, it becomes something sadder, mutual understanding that they can never be friends again. They share one final look, an acknowledgement, a goodbye. Their defeat is the death of a friendship, the loss of innocence, learning that love isn't always enough to overcome the world's divisions. Chief is the old hunting dog who trains Copper. He's gruff, traditional, set in his ways. During the chase, Chief falls from the train trestle, nearly dies, breaks his leg. Chief's defeat is aging, being injured, realizing he's not as strong as he used to be, that he can't protect Copper the way he wants to. Oliver and Company starts with abandonment, a tiny orange kitten in a box on a New York City street. His siblings get adopted, one by one, and Oliver is left, alone. People walk past without looking. He has to survive on the streets, dodge cars, scavenge for food. He's too small, too young. When Dodger uses him to steal hot dogs and then abandons him, Oliver faces another betrayal. His defeat is accumulation, rejection after rejection, being unwanted, small and helpless in a city that doesn't care. Flounder is Ariel's best friend, loyal, supportive, but easily frightened. Throughout the film, he struggles with his fear. He panics during the shark chase, freezes in dangerous moments, and often feels inadequate next to Ariel's bold curiosity. When Ariel chooses to live on land, Flounder isn't angry or heartbroken, but there's a quiet sadness. He realizes their lives will never be the same now that Ariel has a new world to explore. Flounder's defeat isn't dramatic. It's the soft, emotional moment when he understands that growing up sometimes means growing apart, even from your closest friend. Sebastian, the crab, is given an impossible job. Keep Ariel safe. Keep her away from the surface. He fails repeatedly. Ariel goes to the surface anyway, falls in love with a human, makes a deal with Ursula, and Sebastian nearly gets cooked, multiple times. His defeat is being powerless to protect someone who won't listen, watching them make dangerous choices and being unable to stop them. The Lion King gave us Mufasa, the perfect father, the perfect king. When Scar triggers a wildebeest stampede with Simba trapped inside, Mufasa runs to save him, fights through thousands of panicked animals, throws Simba to safety. Then Mufasa climbs, nearly makes it out, reaches for Scar's paw, and Scar whispers, "Long live the king," and lets go. Mufasa falls, gets trampled to death by the stampede he just saved his son from. Simba finds the body. Dad, come on, you gotta get up." But Mufasa doesn't wake up. Mufasa's defeat is betrayal and sacrifice. He died saving his son, died trusting his brother, died being the king and father he was born to be. Simba's defeat is even more complex. He loses his father, gets manipulated into believing it's his fault, gets exiled from his home. He runs away traumatized, guilty, believing he killed his father. And he has to grow up without his family, without his kingdom, carrying guilt that isn't his to carry. Jolly is Esmeralda's goat, loyal, protective. But when Esmeralda is arrested for witchcraft and sentenced to death, Jolly can't save her, can't follow her into prison. This small goat watches the woman he loves being tied to a stake to be burned alive, and there's nothing he can do. Jolly's defeat is witnessing injustice he can't stop, being powerless while someone he loves faces death. Khan is Mulan's horse, strong, loyal. He carries her through an entire war. When Mulan causes an avalanche to stop the Hun army, Khan nearly dies. He's buried in snow, struggling, drowning in white. Mulan digs him out, but that moment of near death is terrifying. Then Khan has to carry wounded Mulan and unconscious Shang through a blizzard, exhausted, freezing, but refusing to stop. Khan's defeat is the accumulation of near-death experiences, being pushed to his absolute limit in a war that doesn't care about animals. Kerchak is the silverback who leads the gorilla family. He never accepts Tarzan as his son. When Clayton attacks, Kerchak fights to protect his family, but Clayton shoots him. As he's dying, Kerchak finally tells Tarzan the truth. "Forgive me, you've always been one of us. Our family will look to you now." He calls Tarzan son for the first time, then dies. Kerchak's defeat is dying just when he finally learned to love. Redemption that comes too late, acceptance given with his last breath. Dinosaurs showed us creatures trying to survive extinction. The elderly and weak fall behind. They can't keep the pace. Ema, an elderly Styracosaurus, knows she's slowing everyone down. She's ready to give up, because in nature, the weak get left behind. Kron, the leader who abandoned the weak, dies fighting Carnotaurs. His strength isn't enough to save him. Their defeat is knowing their burdens, the weak accepting they might die, the leader learning too late that survival requires compassion. Lilo and Stitch gave us Stitch. Experiment 626, created to destroy, programmed for chaos. When he crashes on Earth, he's hunted, rejected, alone. He doesn't understand family or love, doesn't know how to be anything except destructive. His defeat is internal, being created as a weapon, struggling with programming that tells him to destroy when he's learning he wants to belong. Stitch is redeemed, but his journey is about overcoming what he was designed to be. Brother Bear gave us Coda, a cheerful bear cub looking for his mother. He befriends Kenai, a human transformed into a bear. They become like brothers. Then Coda discovers the truth. Kenai killed his mother. The brother he trusted is the reason he's alone. Coda's defeat is devastating betrayal, learning that the person you love most is responsible for your worst pain. Home on the Range showed us farm animals facing losing their home. Maggie, Grace, and Mrs. Calloway are cows who discover their farm is being auctioned. They try to save it, but get captured by a cattle rustler, face being sold, face separation. Their defeat is nearly losing everything: their home, their family, their safety. Chicken Little is ridiculed by his entire town. After claiming the sky is falling, everyone mocks him, calls him crazy. Even his father is embarrassed, disappointed, doesn't believe him. Chicken Little's defeat is being rejected by everyone, losing credibility, being seen as a joke, desperately trying to make his father proud, while everyone expects him to fail. Bolt is a dog who believes he's a superhero. His entire life is a TV show, but he doesn't know that. When he escapes the set and his powers don't work, his reality shatters. He can't break through walls. His super bark does nothing. Then he sees his show on TV, with another dog playing him, with Penny acting like none of it was real. Bolt's defeat is discovering your entire existence was a lie, that the person you loved most was just doing a job, that you're ordinary in a world you thought needed you to be extraordinary. Mittens the cat is cynical, jaded. She was abandoned by her owner, forced to survive on the streets. She knows that people abandon their pets, that love isn't permanent, that you can be replaced. Mittens' defeat happened before the movie starts, but we see its effects, a cat who's been hurt so badly she can't trust anyone. Up gave us Doug, a sweet dog who just wants to be loved. But his pack rejects him. Alpha calls him stupid. The other dogs mock him. When he fails to catch the bird, they send him away. Doug's defeat is emotional, being told by your own family that you don't belong, that you're not good enough. But he finds a better family. Carl and Russell give him what his pack never did: acceptance. Kevin is a rare bird, a mother with babies, and Charles Muntz has been hunting her for decades. She's captured, separated from her babies, faces death at the hands of an obsessed explorer who sees her as a prize. Kevin's defeat is being hunted, being valued only as a trophy, nearly being killed and leaving her babies orphaned. Maximus is a palace horse, determined, disciplined. He sees the world in black and white: rules, duty, order. His mission is simple: capture Flynn Rider. But when he meets Rapunzel, everything changes. She asks him, not commands him, to give Flynn a chance. And for the first time, Maximus hesitates. He isn't defeated physically. He's challenged emotionally. He realizes duty isn't always the same as doing the right thing. Sometimes compassion matters more than rules. Sometimes protecting someone means bending them. Maximus's defeat isn't a fall or a loss. It's accepting that his strict world isn't perfect, that loyalty can mean choosing people, not orders. Pascal is Rapunzel's chameleon, her only friend during 18 years locked in a tower. He watches Mother Gothel manipulate her, watches Rapunzel hurt, and he's powerless to communicate the truth. Pascal's defeat is being small and voiceless, knowing the truth but unable to make anyone listen. Brave showed us Queen Eleanor transformed into a bear. She can't speak, can't communicate, loses her humanity. She struggles to maintain her humanity, nearly loses herself completely to bear instincts. And she's nearly killed by her own husband. King Fergus hunts her, doesn't recognize her, tries to kill the woman he loves. Eleanor's defeat is losing herself, nearly becoming an animal permanently, facing death at the hands of her family. Sven is Kristoff's reindeer, his only friend for years, his entire world. Then Kristoff falls in love with Anna, and Sven watches himself become less important, not replaced, but no longer the center of Kristoff's world. Sven's defeat is quiet, knowing you're not the most important anymore, but loving someone enough to encourage their happiness anyway. Zootopia showed us systemic discrimination. Judy Hopps is a rabbit who wants to be a police officer. She's bullied as a child, told rabbits can't be cops, that she's too small, too weak, should settle for being a carrot farmer. She works harder than anyone, becomes top of her class, proves everyone wrong. Then she gets to Zootopia and faces the same discrimination. Chief Bogo doesn't take her seriously, assigns her parking duty, treats her like a token hire. And when she makes a mistake at a press conference, implying predators are biologically dangerous, she causes citywide panic, destroys her partnership with Nick. Judy's defeat is complex. It's facing discrimination, working twice as hard for half the respect, then accidentally becoming part of the problem she was fighting against. Nick Wilde's defeat happened in childhood. He was a fox kit who wanted to join the Junior Ranger Scouts. The other scouts attacked him, muzzled him, said foxes can never be trusted. That moment broke him. He decided if the world sees foxes as untrustworthy, he'll be untrustworthy. He'll live down to their expectations because trying to be good only gets you hurt. Nick's defeat is giving up, becoming what society expects instead of fighting to be something different. Pua is Moana's pet pig. Sweet, loyal. But when Moana sets out to save her island, Pua is too scared. The ocean terrifies him. He can't follow. Pua's defeat is being left behind because he's not brave enough, watching the person he loves most sail into danger while he stays safe on the beach. Hey Hey is a rooster, the dumbest rooster alive. He's constantly in danger, nearly drowns, nearly gets eaten, falls off the boat repeatedly. Hey Hey's defeat is being too stupid to survive, only making it through because Moana keeps saving him. Dante is Miguel's street dog, goofy, loyal. But Miguel is embarrassed by him, pushes him away, tells him to leave because Dante isn't sophisticated. Dante follows anyway, because that's what love means, staying loyal even when you're rejected. Dante's defeat is being rejected by the person he loves most, being seen as an embarrassment instead of a friend. Sven continues his role in Frozen 2, still supporting Kristoff, still watching his best friend prioritize Anna. Still being selfless, still loving someone enough to want them happy even when it means being less important. Bruni is a fire salamander, part of the Enchanted Forest. He's scared, chaotic, can't control his fire. His defeat is being misunderstood, causing destruction because he's scared and doesn't know how to stop. Tuk Tuk is Raya's companion, a pillbug creature who's been with her since childhood. When the Druins spread, Tuk Tuk protects Raya, shields her with his body, and turns to stone. Raya holds his stone form, this creature who's been by her side for years, and he's gone. Tuk Tuk is restored when the Druin are defeated, but that moment of loss is devastating, watching your best friend die protecting you. Antonio receives the gift of talking to animals. Instantly, he's surrounded by creatures who love him. But when Casita crumbles, the animals are helpless. They try to help, try to protect Antonio's family, but they're just animals. Their defeat is having all this love and loyalty, but no power to prevent disaster. Legend is the Clade family's three-legged dog. He's already lost a leg, already a survivor. Throughout their journey, Legend struggles. He's slower than he used to be. The terrain is harder with 3 legs. But he refuses to give up because his family needs him. Legend's defeat is ongoing. It's living with disability, being slower, struggling with things that used to be easy, but choosing to be brave anyway. Valentino is Asha's goat, loyal, eventually gains the ability to talk. But he's still just a goat. He wants to help Asha fight King Magnifico, wants to save Rosas, but he's small, limited. Valentino's defeat is loving someone and wanting to protect them, but being physically incapable of solving their problems. From Bambi's mother to Mufasa, from Mrs. Jumbo locked in a cage to Todd and Copper's goodbye, from the Dalmatian puppies facing death to Judy Hopps facing systemic discrimination. Disney has shown us for nearly 90 years that animals suffer. They feel loss, betrayal, fear, heartbreak. These defeats taught us empathy. They showed us that animals aren't just sidekicks. They're characters with depth, with families, with everything to lose. Bambi's mother taught us about senseless loss. Mrs. Jumbo taught us about a mother's love behind bars. Mufasa taught us about betrayal and sacrifice. Todd and Copper taught us that love isn't always enough. Kerchak taught us that redemption can come too late. Coda taught us that betrayal cuts deepest when it comes from those we trust. But through all these defeats, these animals also taught us resilience, the ability to keep going, to keep loving, to keep hoping even when the world is cruel. Which Disney animal's defeat hit you the hardest? Which loss still makes you cry? Was it Bambi calling for his mother? Mrs. Jumbo locked in that cage? Mufasa's fall? Todd and Copper's goodbye? Judy facing discrimination? Drop your answer in the comments. Share the moment that broke your heart. Subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our childhoods. See you guys at our next story. Don't forget to like and subscribe.